go. Live. We are live.
Hi, I'm Eric Oldfather here at Harris Media, and here to take a few questions and talk about some of the latest trends that we've been seeing across different social media platforms. And a lot of these questions come from our clients. A lot of them we are constantly exploring internally or reading about on different tech blogs. And also, all the time we're testing things out with our own clients' posts and trying to see what's working, what's getting the best reach and the best results. So I'm gonna wait for a few people to join in, but gonna take some questions.
So Eric, when would you say would be the best time to post social media content, whether it be Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn? Just when's the best time that you would say?
So first of all, I would say the best time to post something is when it's the most relevant. We see breaking news is heavily prioritized by trending content both on Facebook and Twitter. And even if you're not posting something that's necessarily in the moment breaking news, I'd say really the sooner the better. On Twitter, you're gonna have people on their phones at different times. Everything is posted chronologically on there with the exceptions of a few highlights now. So pretty much I would post very similar content throughout the day to make sure that you're reaching every audience at any time that they're logged on. And for Facebook, because they now are on an algorithm system as well as Instagram, you'll see that generally you want to post when you have the largest audience out there. So that tends to be in the evenings for most of our campaigns and organizations that we work with. So if you go into Facebook Insights, for instance, you'll see that your audience will reach its peak usually around 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. So you figure that's really the best time to post when you have the most eyeballs.
So what type of so would you say video performs better generally on Facebook?
So that's another thing that you can find in Facebook Insights. You can see what type of posts are performing the best for your page, comparing some linked posts to external websites, comparing to just regular image-based posts, text-based posts, or video-based. And what we've seen over about the past year is that video-based content is getting shoved to the top of people's news feeds on Facebook and Instagram. And that's consistent across just about every page that we have, that we manage. So that is where you would find out where to go for the best type of content, and video has been king lately.
So in Facebook Insights, you can look at demographics and how old people are that are looking on your content and just all that. Do you want to elaborate a little bit on demographics, right, or what type of people or things that you see in Facebook Insights?
Right, so you'll be able to see, in addition to what time your audience is typically online and what types of posts they're engaging with the most, to just their basic demographics, like if your audience is predominantly male or female, or millennials versus seniors. So that can, in a lot of ways, inform what kind of content you should be posting. For instance, if you're working with a more elderly audience who might not have the technical savvy to understand certain post types that are newer, then it would make more sense to stick to easier to understand content, larger text, easier to digest.
So nowadays you see a lot of things, and people are mostly on mobile versus desktop and watching the news and stuff on TV. So a lot of people nowadays go and try to get all their information from their phone. So what would you say works best on mobile as far as content, or what do you see from your experience that people generally engage with more on mobile than versus desktop or watching TV?
Right, we take a mobile-first approach to our website design and to our social media content now, because that's where the majority of people are seeing it. So you have to keep that in mind, and there are ways to game the system to optimize for that kind of post. So one example is, you have a relatively small screen. So as you're scrolling through your Instagram feed or your Twitter feed, what have you, what we're trying to create is what's referred to as thumb-stopping content, the kind of stuff that's going to get your attention and make you pay attention and stop scrolling. So there are a few ways to accomplish that. One is by taking up as much real estate as possible in somebody's feed. We can do that through, on Twitter, we've had multiple tweets. You can say retweet this first, retweet this second, and somebody can go in and, as you're scrolling through, take multiple images, and that catches your eye as you're scrolling through. Facebook actually just introduced vertical video, so that's a new feature that's sized to take up essentially your entire screen as you're scrolling through the feed, and that's really hard to overlook. So that's a good example of something that's new and out there. Facebook has its Canvas option, which is essentially a pop-up or a pop-out tool that shows up in people's feeds, and that's actually only on mobile currently. And we've used that to, instead of driving people off of Facebook, we've kept them inside of that environment and shown them infographics or all kinds of different content, such as videos, or you can even do carousels where you can swipe through with your thumb. So really a lot of ways to take advantage of this new mobile-first environment.
So I'm going to switch now over to a little bit on Twitter. I know you kind of highlighted this on a little bit, but so the average lifespan of a tweet is significantly different than you would see on Facebook. What kind of advice would you give to someone who wants to push their message out on Twitter versus Facebook? What is a different trend that you would want to go for there?
So again, I would say to, on Twitter, push something out as much as often as possible so you're reaching every audience at every time. On Facebook, the algorithm's going to take care of that for the most part, and an older post can still show up in somebody's newsfeed there. But ways that you can get people to see your content more on Twitter, we find that really repeating yourself is good.
So repetition's key and all that.
A lot of repetition, a lot more filler content. So driving people to sign up to be on your mailing list or to submit a video endorsement, things that are just evergreen content you can keep putting out. Certainly doesn't hurt to keep posting. Around Get Out the Vote, early voting, that time, I mean, on Twitter you can be putting stuff out constantly, and because it's not on an algorithm system, you're not really being penalized for it. You might lose a couple followers here and there, but we find that's usually not the case, and it's the best way to increase your reach. On Facebook, that's going to be mostly paid promotion because people are less likely to engage with, I guess, less policy-oriented, less flashy content. But you can still put that out there, and you're still going to get some engagement, so it doesn't hurt to put out as much content as possible there.
Alrighty, well, is there any last thoughts that you would like to just inform people about? Something new that's happened in social media, new trends? I saw an article that Twitter was coming out with more characters possibly, and you can do Facebook Live on desktop.
That's right. Starting Monday, I believe that's September 18th, 19th, we are now going to be able to have 140 character tweets that are not 140 character tweets where media content like video, images, GIFs, none of that is going to count against the character limit, so that means you have more room for text. That means that you could potentially throw in more hashtags to get involved in more conversations with your Twitter content. And Facebook Live, obviously, we love it. It's it's all the rage. It goes right with Facebook's trend toward video content. So now we're taking it live. We're providing a backstage view that people can't, that ordinary people aren't getting in the political world. So whether that's at rallies or before major speeches or press conferences, it's providing people a new angle, much like what we've been doing on Snapchat.
Alrighty, Eric. Well, I appreciate your time with us.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching, and we'll be back with more Facebook Live soon.